think I'm tricking you because I'm in agreement with you. I'm just trying to clarify what your evidence is so that we know going forward that you are saying that in December when you are speaking to witness A, you are telling witness A that Molefe is linked to Mswazi, but you didn't know that it was Molefe in May 2024.
Yeah, blame my tutors. They said what you know or knowledge is what you have experienced.
Okay, let's move on, General.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think in fairness to this discussion, General, in your conversation with the investigating officer, you don't say, I have been told. And you can look at it. It's not how you express yourself. You express yourself as they are part of, he Molefe. They are 5. I'm sure they are 5. They are a group of, they were 5. They're having other companies together also, or mining rights together. So you are not saying to him, you are relaying what you have been told. In fact, on the next paragraph, he says, in the further conversation, he says, yes, to me too, he told me that he has an interest in mining. And then you say, somewhere in Rustenburg and Bretz. Now, that conversation, you are not conveying it as I have been told. You're telling A, these are the facts. At least that's how you speak in the transcript. You may now want to explain it and say, well, maybe I misspoke. It's what I had been told. But in this communication, if we go by the transcript, in the transcript, you present it as something that you know.
Yeah.
So there's no tricking there, and I think you're not being fair in the discussion to say that you're being tricked. It's your words. No one is putting words in your mouth.
Yeah, it's not easy because me and the person I was speaking to, we understood each other, and even the information that I got information and whatsoever, it is not there on the transcript. And they indicated that they were not aware that some were not being recorded and so forth, but it will seem I'm reasoning. I'll leave it there as it is on the transcript. But what I'm explaining is what is the truth, is what I know.
And General, to be fair to you, line 18 on page 66, because there you identify Molefe because you say this guy, meaning Katiso Molefe. In line 19, this guy was the same group with Mswazi. So whether you heard that from somebody else or not, when you communicate it to witness A, that's how you communicate it. You may not have personal knowledge yourself, but the information you are communicating to witness A is that Katiso Molefe was linked to Mswazi, and they are part of this group of 5. So whether the source is somebody else, for now, we can accept that what you communicated is that information. Right?
Can I leave to my answer?
Yes.
Yes.
And maybe this is just an interest to understand how it works. So, General, if somebody told you this kind of information, so you're not putting it as a fact. You were saying someone has told me, as head of organized crime, is it not supposed then to, as part of your functions, to then give you the beginning of an investigation to get you to a point where you are able to say that indeed they are part of a group of 5, or no, they're actually not part of a group of 5. Or for that matter, there is no group of 5. So we take it past, I've been told, because you are head of organized crime in the country. What do you do when that happens, and what did you do here? And maybe let me bring it back to this, that you say to us you were informed, and that's what this conversation is about. What do you do with that?
That is why I shared with Witness A. Witness A works for organized crime. Witness A was part of the investigation team which has been formulated, which is dealing with the same group in related to certain things. So it's additional to what you already knows to say they can go further. And I indicated even now to say now they were reinforced in a safe house, having all the resources to pursue this thing. Hence, I shared further with him that information so that it must be continuation of that particular investigation, because the investigation has already started and already other people arrested. I'm giving him further names to look at. As I indicated to say, when I wanted a threat risk analysis to be done, was exactly that they get protection, they stay in a safe house, they have more members, and then team with crime intelligence and combat so that they can work on this and pursue other new cases which will emanate from these firearms. I think I testified like that, and this was just a continuation of sharing the information so that they can follow up also on that other part.
So just to make sure that I understand, so you get this kind of information from whatever other source, it's an informer or whatever, you pass it on to an investigator like this in a docket, and you do nothing more about it. Is that, I'm just trying to understand so that one doesn't attach to you functions and responsibilities that don't belong to you. You know, if you say to us, look, once I've got the information, I just pass it on. Investigators will deal with it. As head of organized crime, I just wait for them to give me reports. If that's what it is, that's what it is.
So, no, if it was a normal investigation, when it's based at the unit, I could speak to him and the commander and follow up and make sure that whatever support which I can provide, I can. As I indicated before, that when I was briefing them, I indicated this will form a part of investigation which we call the project. A project led is got a project team, a leader, and it's a group, and it reports otherwise. You cannot access it unless there is at the provinces they have what they call Provincial Organized Crime Secretariat. Only the the project leaders will go and brief, and then there will be NDPP and everybody who's supposed to be there who forms the part. So if he's already there at the project and is the person I communicate with, who I knew from the start he's part of the investigation, and they're making inroads, and I'm just sharing further information for him and the team to pursue. So I will end it there.
If again, I'm just trying to understand this. If witness A is not part of that project team, it's docket specific. In this case, there's a very specific docket. If his involvement is limited to this docket and he wasn't part of a project team, you've now shared this with him, what happens? I mean, you hope that he will feed it into somebody else, or what?
No, it will depend. If it is faceted, it doesn't need more resources. Like this one, it seems to need more. Then what we do, you will now, the investigator and the commander come together, we discuss to say we form a team, a multidisciplinary team to work on that particular issue. We call it 5-pillar approach. Then we'll call crime intelligence, and then we will have that investigator. They will determine the number in terms of the volume of the work need to be done. But crime intelligence will be number one to come with that investigator to follow up and verify. That is why we call them a pillar one, because everything we do, it must be, we call intelligence-led policing. Then it must be information which, not information, now it becomes intelligent report. Information is not yet verified. So it works like that.
Do you know if that has happened in respect of this group of 5, this which you are describing would have happened?
I think they testified that the leader is General Kalakala, and the testimony of General Kumalo is they are still investigating. The investigation is ongoing. That is what I know.
Thank you, General.
Thank you.